My breath hangs like a cartoon speech bubble in the air, and yeah, I'm shivering. It's like walking into a damn meat locker down this endless corridor into the annex. Some fresh-faced kid, probably still thinks this job is glamorous, pulls open the reinforced door ahead. He gives me that earnest soldier boy nod as I shuffle past. I offer a tight smile back. Bless his cotton socks. The next stretch is somehow colder. The pristine white walls and those weird humming cryotubes give way to ankle-deep swirling fog. Frost spiders across the observation windows, and the lab coats here have been swapped for serious Arctic parkas and boots that could stomp a Yeti. I zip my own flimsy jacket tighter, mentally kicking myself for ignoring the memo about layering. Hubris, thy name is Evelyn. The low murmur of scientific chatter ahead cuts off abruptly as we approach. Suddenly, it's just the whisper-soft hiss of the air filtration, probably costing more than my rent, the click-clack of our boots on the grated floor, and a weird, resonant hum that seems to vibrate through the ice-slick walls, not just bounce off them. Segment 3. Full Narnia. The walls are ice now, solid, blue, tinged, and radiating a cold that sinks right into your bones. That gentle filter breeze. Now it feels like tiny knives scraping my cheeks. Lovely. My workplace isn't exactly your typical 9-to-5. We're basically cosmic hoarders. We collect things. Stuff that flips the bird at physics, items that defy explanation, artifacts we're pretty sure didn't punch their time card in this dimension. And down here, in the deep freeze annex, we keep the temperamental ones. The ones that throw a fit if the thermostat creeps above freezing. Down a short flight of metal steps we go, descending into a haze that glows faintly blue. I flex my fingers, trying to remember what warm blood feels like. Everyone down here is masked and goggled up like they're about to weld reality back together. Forget recognizing anyone. It's a sea of anonymous thermal suits. Ahead, nestled between sheer ice walls, a side passage opens sharply to the right. Our little gaggle of frostbitten researchers shuffles that way. I hang back for a second, drawn to a thick pane of reinforced polyglass set into the ice on my left. A gleaming metal plaque reads, Item 7B. Behind the glass is a low-ceilinged cavern, maybe the size of a generous living room, and smack in the middle, Item 7B itself. Item 7B isn't what you'd call actively malevolent. It's not chained down or guarded by lasers. In fact, the polyglass barrier just stops. It doesn't even connect to the far ice wall. No door, no lock, nothing separating it from the main walkway. Because why bother? It's down here for the chill factor. The thing only gets off its metaphorical couch when it's cold enough to make brass monkeys nervous. Casting a quick glance after my colleagues disappearing down the side passage, I take a detour, a quick shuffle into 7B's little alcove. It's colder in here, if that's even possible. Item 7B looks absurdly like a vintage vending machine someone tried to make futuristic in the 80s. Taller than me, maybe 3 feet wide, covered in swirling patterns of deep indigo and flat black. On its right flank, 5 shallow, coin-sized depressions wait patiently. I pull off my glove, the sudden cold biting, and do the required 5-finger salute, pressing each fingertip into a groove. A pinpoint of light flares brilliantly from the machine's center, blindingly fast, then vanishes. A low, almost imperceptible hum starts up deep inside 7B. Behind the machine's display screen, a sheet of something that looks like smoked glass, a faint, flickering white dot, also coin-sized, slowly materializes. And then, the main event. A trickle of liquid, the color of a deep bruise, starts to bleed from the dot's location, all safely behind the screen, thankfully. It oozes rightward, forming a watery, unsteady line. My eyes follow its slow progress. After a couple of inches, it splits. A second line, this one a sickly bile yellow, branches off, heading vaguely right but on its own trajectory. Then a third yellow line bubbles into existence, then a fourth. They look disturbingly like flat lemonade that's gone slightly radioactive. Eventually, all the lines, bruise blue and bile yellow, reach the screen's edge, their little existential journeys complete. A beat passes, and the entire display, dot and trails, fades back into nothingness. Show's over. I pull my freezing fingers back. Item 7B, supposedly, maps out your immediate choices. The blue line is your current trajectory, the path of least resistance. The yellow ones? Those are the potential detours, the choices that'll significantly scramble your near-future eggs. Not exactly a crystal ball, is it, Dr. Reed? A voice says right behind me. I jump, my heart doing a startled leap against my ribs. It's just the soldier kid again, looking slightly amused. No. Underwhelming is a word that springs to mind. I manage, trying for a casual smile that probably looks more like a grimace. What was I even hoping for? A detailed roadmap to enlightenment? A coupon for a free coffee? Probably best catch up to the others, the soldier suggests, gesturing politely down the corridor. Right. Work to do. We leave the cryptic vending machine to its chilly solitude and hustle after the main group. My actual research subject is down here. My papers, pored over, peer-reviewed to death, finally got me the golden ticket, access to the latest experiment. Which is only fair, I tell myself bitterly, considering I was on the damn team that dug the thing up 10 years ago. The psych evals were a joke, of course, lied through my teeth. Can't have them knowing about Leo, my little brother. That little tidbit would get me booted faster than you can say unresolved trauma. And I need this. The passageway opens into a vast cavern, cathedral-like if cathedrals were carved from ice and lit by harsh, industrial lighting. Glass-walled labs are built right into the ice perimeter, scientists buzzing inside like bees in refrigerated hives. No weird objects here, just people working, which is almost weirder in this place. My heart starts a slow, heavy drumbeat, then faster, harder. This is it. There. Center stage, bathed in the stark glare of a massive overhead floodlight. Passage 5. We found Passage 5, initially nicknamed The Threshold, because scientists are so original, buried in the Troms Mountains in Norway. Almost a decade ago now. It's a doorway, about 7 feet tall, carved from some kind of stone that seems to perpetually weep frost. More archway than rectangle, really. The stone is covered in intricate, interwoven runes, but the most prominent one is jammed right into the keystone at the apex of the arch. It looks vaguely like a capital H drawn drunk, with an extra horizontal bar smacked in the middle. It seems carved deeper, angrier than the others. Evelyn, a voice cuts through the ambient hum. A redhead silhouetted against the floodlight waves me over. Dr. Eris Thorne, project lead. I swallow, fighting a wave of nausea that has nothing to do with the cold. An invisible energy pulses from the stones, a low thrum you feel in your fillings. We all feel it. Thorne lifts his goggles, pulls down his mask. His smile is professionally courteous, but his eyes are sharp. Right then, Evie. Let's get you suited and booted, he says, his voice brisk. He waits for my jerky nod, then signals a tech team hovering nearby. Suddenly, I'm being hustled into a side chamber, a flurry of activity around me. Prep involves wriggling into a harness that feels suspiciously like a high-tech straitjacket, connected to a thick, semi-flexible umbilical cord, snaking back to a massive reel. They clip tiny cameras to my shoulders, swap my boots for heavier-duty ones, and fit me with my own mask and fine thermal gloves. A utility belt loaded with God knows what gets buckled around my waist. Standard away, team chic. Then, the paperwork. I'm sat at a flimsy metal desk and presented with a stack of forms. Permission for forced retrieval? Check. Waiver of liability for physical or psychological harm? Check, check, check. I've seen these before. Bureaucracy, even at the edge of reality. I scribble my signature without really reading. What's the point? If things go sideways, a signed form isn't going to unspaghettify me. It's all a whirlwind of clinical efficiency, and before I can process it, I'm back in the main cavern, Thorn at my side, the assembled team watching. Thorn claps a hand on my shoulder, his touch surprisingly firm, then steps back onto a small platform beside Passage 5. The excited buzz dies down. Silence falls, thick and heavy. Passage 5, Thorn begins, gesturing dramatically towards the arch. This evening, our colleague, Dr. Evelyn Reed, will undertake an expedition through its gateway. He clears his throat, rubbing his gloved hands together. Our ongoing probes confirm a consistent, if alien, geology and biology on the other side. But frankly, we still haven't the foggiest where there actually is, or what it implies. Doesn't help that the specific landing zone, the geography immediately beyond the threshold, seems to re-roll the dice every time we open it. He spreads his hands. Man-made structures, bizarre topographical features. We've barely scratched the surface. Today, hopefully, we scratch a little deeper. He nods towards me. All eyes swivel my way. Great. Dr. Reed was part of the original discovery team in Norway nearly 10 years ago, Thorn continues. Though viable human exploration only became possible in the last year, and I doubt it surprises anyone that volunteers, well, they aren't exactly lining up around the block anymore. He pauses, rubbing his chin thoughtfully, then steps off the platform towards me. He gives my harness a final check, ensuring the cord connection is solid. He glances back at the two technicians manning the giant winch, gets a thumbs up. You understand you won't be able to remove the harness yourself? He asks, his voice low. Yes, I reply, my voice tight. He tightens a strap, clicks a magnetic lock into place. It emits a small, electronic chirp. And you understand why? Yes, Eris, I understand. A troubling consistency, he says, mostly for the benefit of the recording devices, I suspect. As you know, Evelyn, the further explorers venture, the stronger the disinclination to return becomes. I know, Eris, I did the training. I'm fine. Sort of. He nods, seemingly satisfied. He gestures for me to take his place on the platform, directly before the stone arch. My stomach performs an Olympic dive. I try to control my breathing, stepping up onto the slightly raised dais. The thrumming intensifies. Thorn calls for the experiment sequence to begin. Clear the floor, he shouts. Phase 1, initiate temperature drop. The main cavern lights dim. The massive floodlight bathing the archway slowly powers down. The temperature plummets. I glance back at the small group I arrived with. They're huddled together, visibly shivering now. Amateurs. Phase 2. Atmospheric adjustment, Thorn calls. A thick, Arctic mist begins to bleed from vents in the ice walls, swirling around our ankles like spectral snakes. To my right, a large LED display composed of blue pinpricks shows the ambient temperature, 13 to 4. C. It flickers, 14 to 4. C. A beat, 15 to 4 C. The energy pouring from the archway flares, becoming almost palpable. A collective gasp ripples through the room as the runes carved into the stone begin to glow with a soft, pulsating azure light. Here we go, Thorn mutters beside me. Phase 3. Indicator lights wink on across my harness and gear. The giant reel holding my lifeline cord shudders, releasing a puff of icy vapor. The view through the stone arch begins to warp. What was just the other side of a cavern, icy walls, watchful scientists, starts to ripple like air above hot asphalt. Steeling myself. This is it, Evie. What you lied for. What you risked everything for. Even a few minutes. You'll be one of the few. The rippling air takes on color. A subtle, shimmering, pale orange hue. The thrumming energy vibrates in my teeth. "Good luck, Evelyn," Thorn murmurs. "Thanks. Got this." Famous last words? The watery view intensifies, the orange deepening, waves of it seeming to splash against the inside of the stone arch, until the view of the cavern is completely obscured. In its place shimmers a pathway winding across desolate tundra. Something impossibly mountainous looms in the hazy distance, everything bathed in that weird orange glow. Out of the corner of my eye, I see scientists scribbling frantically. One of the tiny cameras on my shoulder emits a series of rapid electronic beeps, ready for its close-up. "Experiment commenced, 20 hours. Thorn announces formally. Deep breath. Hold it. And then, I step forward, across the platform, and through the shimmering amber curtain of Passage 5, leaving the familiar chill of the complex for whatever lies beyond. The air here hits differently, richer, cleaner, almost sweet. It catches me off guard. I pause just inside the archway, just breathing it in for a full minute, like the first breath after being underwater too long. "Everything all right, Evie?" Thorn's voice crackles in my earpiece, tinny and distant. Yeah, all good. Doing okay." "Okay, Reed, you can handle this. Playtime's over." I take stock. Everything is filtered through that persistent orange tint. The sky above is vast, featureless. Is it cloudless? Or just one solid, uniform blanket of orange cloud? Hard to tell. My money's on the latter. There's no discernible sun, just pervasive, shadowless light. "Okay, Eris," painting the picture. I begin, keeping my voice level. World looks empty. Barren. I'm on a hilltop. More low, rolling hills all around, merging into each other, dusted with snow, covered in this wiry, ankle-high scrub grass, river to my right, flowing between the hills. Meandering not straight. Passage 5 and I are standing on a paved stone road, smooth, unnaturally straight, leads directly ahead and behind, vanishing over the hills. No trees. No bushes higher than my knees. No animals, no bird song, nothing moving. Horizon to the left, right, behind me, just endless rolling hills. No sign of forests, mountains, civilization. Ahead though, dead ahead, holy hell, there's a statue, colossal, monstrous, like someone carved Everest into a figure. Its base is beyond the furthest visible hill, so distant it's hazy, almost translucent. The head, it disappears up into the orange smog of the upper atmosphere. It just keeps going. It's a man, sort of, distorted, crouched, like he's about to pounce. One knee down, the other pulled up to his chest. One massive hand clutches a huge, curved horn. The other, it's stretched out, palm up. Beckoning? To me? To the sky? Who knows? There's what looks like a sword, sheathed at his hip. His face is angled down, looking at the ground. Enormous stone beard flows across his chest, and right in the middle of his forehead, a third eye. Smooth? Obsidian, maybe? It glitters, even from here, staring out over this wasteland. Motionless, but watching. The scale is nauseating, vertigo-inducing. Thorn's voice cuts back in. "Still with us, Evie? Stay calm. We've never logged a statue this size, but the description matches motifs from previous probes. Relax. Get your baseline samples." "Right, samples," I mutter, crouching down. I scrape some of the hard, frost-rimed, crumbly soil from beside the path into a collection vial. Snip 2 blades of the brittle, grayish grass, carefully placing them between prepared slides. Everything tucks away neatly into designated pockets on my harness. Standard procedure in a profoundly non-standard place. Standing up again, there's nothing else to catalog nearby. Only one thing to do: walk. I feel a slight, steady pressure at my back as the winch system pays out the cord. It's a constant reminder of my leash, but I tune it out quickly as I set off down the smooth stone path, heading towards that impossible monument on the horizon. The only sounds are the rhythmic tap of my boots on the stone and the low, constant rush of the river to my right. For a while, it's just walking. These sounds are occasionally punctuated by Thorn's muffled voice in my ear, conferring with his team, or asking for a temperature reading, or a status update. How are you feeling, Evie? Any intrusive thoughts? The usual psych light check-in? But honestly, I'm okay. Curious, definitely. Waited years for this. A little freaked out? Sure, who wouldn't be? But no urge to rip off the harness and run wild. Not yet, anyway. Object 5's infamous siren song, the anomaly that makes explorers forget the concept of home, hasn't started humming my tune. There's no breeze, yet I feel a persistent, biting chill on the sliver of exposed skin between my mask and goggles. As I crest hill after hill, the landscape starts to subtly change. Nothing dramatic, just decay. Small piles of rubble appear, sections of low, broken walls, half buried in the frosty grass, crumbling, unrecognizable statues tumbled amongst the scrub. Okay, Eris, I murmur into the mic. Getting a distinct post-apocalyptic chic vibe now, kinda creepy. I keep walking and walking. Odd thing is, I don't feel tired. If anything, I feel energized. Like the weird orange air is mainlining caffeine directly into my bloodstream. Off to my left, perched on a distant slope, is a jagged section of ruined wall. Just standing there, disconnected from anything. Looks like maybe 30 feet long, 10 feet high. No context, no purpose. From this distance, it looks like something's been daubed across its surface in white, startlingly white, against the orange tint. A message? I stop, squinting. Too far to read. Instinctively, I start to step off the path towards the grassy slope. A sharp crackle in my earpiece. Evelyn, advise against leaving the designated pathway. Thorn's voice is suddenly flinty. But it's not far, Eris. I think I can make out. Evelyn, do not leave the path. The order is absolute. I hesitate, frustration prickling. Fine, I bite out, turning back to the road. Fine. Don't leave the path. Keep walking towards the giant stone guy playing peekaboo with the atmosphere. The one who hasn't seemed to get any closer, despite me walking for what feels like an hour. Forever on the horizon. The silent watcher. That glittering third eye. Watching me. Paranoid much, Reed? It's rock. Big rock. Get a grip. But the feeling persists. The river. It's been my constant companion on the right, flowing alongside the path. Didn't seem noteworthy at first. Just river. But something makes me stop again. I crouch at the edge of the path, peering down at the water flowing maybe 10 feet below. Okay, that's not right. I breathe. Eris, you seeing this feed clearly? Silence for a moment, just the rush of water, which sounds wrong. I stare, trying to wrap my head around it. The water, it's flowing the wrong way. It wasn't obvious on the flatter stretches, but right here, the riverbed clearly slopes downwards away from me, yet the water is flowing up it. There's even a tiny waterfall, maybe 6 inches high, where the water is energetically rushing uphill. Gravity just packed its bags and left. How the hell? I whisper. Eris? Sample? Should I get a water sample? Another pause. Thorn's voice returns, still cautious. Negative, Evelyn. Maintain position on the road. Do not interact with the water. Roger that. No touching the anti-gravity water. Great. Add that to the list of things that shouldn't be. I press on, hyper-aware now of the river's defiant uphill journey. More ruins drift by, Broken statues, tumbled stones, more random segments of wall. One section, closer this time, is covered in those white markings, loops, lines, jagged shapes, just like the distant one. It doesn't look like writing now, just graffiti by a ghost. Eris, the markings on these walls mean anything to you guys? Pause. Crackle. What markings, Evelyn? The white symbols? All over this wall section right here. I gesture, making sure the shoulder cam has a clear view. Another pause. Longer this time. We are not seeing any anomalous markings on the structure, Evelyn. Looks like standard erosion patterns on our monitors. But it's right. Even as I speak, the wall shifts. I stumble back, startled. The surface stones begin to slide, rearranging themselves with a low, grinding sound. Like a geological Rubik's Cube solving itself, the white lines move with the stones, breaking apart and reforming. Evelyn, heart rate just spiked. Report. What's happening? They can't see it. Oh God, they can't see it. The grinding stops. The stones settle into new positions. Some of the random white lines now connect, forming patterns I recognize. Symbols, letters. My eyes dart across the rearranged surface. Words coalesce. A sentence snaps into focus. The water flows up backwards here. A cold dread, colder than the air, washes over me. Why? I whisper, the question aimed at the wall, at the universe, at nothing. After a beat, the stones begin their slow, grinding dance again. Evelyn, talk to us. What did you see? What's going on? Thorn sounds genuinely alarmed now. The wall. It spelled out a message. The water flows backwards here. It's changing again. The stones lock into their final configuration. You miss him. My heart seizes. Miss who? The words are barely a whisper, lost in the strange air. I doubt the mic even picked it up. The wall remained silent, its message stark and chilling. Evelyn, status report. Are you comfortable continuing, or do you wish to initiate retrieval? We have substantial new data already. No need to push it. No, I'm okay. I can keep going. I lie, my voice shaky. I turn away from the accusing wall and force my legs to move, onward. My harness feels looser, definitely looser than before. Around my chest, my hips. Not drastically, but noticeably. Not my imagination. I pick up the pace, striding faster along the path. The impossible river churning beside me. Another ruined wall flashes past. Same messages appear, burning themselves onto the stone and my retinas. The water flows backwards here. You miss him. Beside this wall, a small, oddly shaped pile of rubble makes me do a double take. For a split second, it looked like a figure, a child maybe, standing on the desolate slope. But no, just rocks. Coincidence. The water flows backwards here. You miss him. The sky presses down, oppressively orange and blank. The giant statue's third eye glitters, unwavering. No trees, no birds, no life. Just the road, the ruins, and the backward river. Evelyn, Thorn's voice, slightly distorted by static now. Next time you encounter one of those active walls, try to engage. Ask it something else. See if you can get it off the water topic. He doesn't know about the second message. You miss him. Why didn't I tell him? Fear? Fear he'd pull me back immediately? Fear of admitting what it might mean? Yeah, probably that. Add it to the list of lies. Lied on the psyche eval. Lied about the wall. If Thorn finds out, I'm grounded, permanently. No more threshold, no more answers. Another child-sized cluster of rocks by the path snags my attention. Just rocks. Definitely just rocks. Except, maybe not. Up ahead, closer to the path this time, stands the unmistakable statue of a young boy carved from stone. The top half is missing, sheared off raggedly, but one arm, elbow bent, rests against his leg. An emotion I can't name, grief mixed with something else, something sharper, twists in my gut. I stop, letting the cameras get a clear, still shot. The statue is within arm's reach. Thorn asks for a sample. Chip off a piece. Reluctantly, I take out the small geological hammer. The act feels violating, wrong, like chipping away at memory itself. And you miss him. Leo. Images flood my mind, unbidden. His lopsided grin. The gap between his front teeth. His ridiculous floppy hair. 11 years old. Forever. Stuck at 11. While I got old. I start seeing him everywhere. In the shape of the tumbled stones. In the posture of the broken statues. Their faces are always missing, eroded, or cracked away. But then, on a nearby hilltop, one statue stands whole, covered in patches of dark moss but complete. It's facing away from me. I have to see it. I have to know. As if reading my mind, Thorn's voice cuts in, sharper now. Maintain course, Evelyn. Stick to the path. We discuss this. A pause. Actually, maybe we call it a day. You've been out there a significant duration. Gathered excellent data. No. I snap too quickly. It's fine, I'm fine, still lucid, still want to come back. But this is important, Eris. Let me go just a little further. Another crackling pause. All right, Evelyn, against my better judgment. But any sign of cognitive distress, any deviation, you report it immediately. Your vitals are stable, oddly enough. Heart rate steady, blood pressure is actually lower than when you started. Just stay frosty, okay? Okay, I lie again, the word tasting like ash. The headset clicks off. Onward, alone in Orangeland. More walls, more shifting symbols, always coalescing into one of two phrases. The water flows backwards here. You miss him. Following Thorn's instruction, I confront the next active wall. Miss who? I ask, my voice trembling slightly, dreading the answer. The stones grind. New words form. He can be found along the road. This is a trick, I say, trying to sound detached, scientific, failing miserably. You're trying to lure me, like the others. The symbols ripple and reform. We cannot trick, nor deceive. There were no others here. Evelyn? Wall interaction? What's it saying? Thorn's voice urgent. It's trying to tell me I lost something. Trying to trick me into leaving the path. Lying again. Why am I protecting this? Whatever it is. Protecting the possibility? What did it say exactly, Evelyn? Gibberish. I force out. Meaningless patterns. I turn away from the wall. Heart pounding. I walk faster. The message repeats on other walls. The water flows backwards here. The sound of the river seems louder now, less like rushing water, more like grinding teeth. An obnoxious, frothing static. The statues of the boy, Leo, become more frequent. No, stop it, Reed. Not Leo. Just some generic stone kid. Repeated motif. Artistic choice of a long-dead alien civilization. Yeah, right. I am not losing it. I am not. I am perfectly rational. Sound mind, sound body. Except for the part where I'm talking to rocks and seeing my dead brother everywhere. Minor details. Evelyn? Heart rate is elevated. Significantly. Mission duration is sufficient. I'm ordering retrieval. Thorn's voice brooks no argument. No. Wait. I know what you're thinking. The anomaly, the lure. It's not that. I want to come back. I swear. Just a little further. Please. It's trying to tell me something. The walls, the statues, they mean something. My pace quickens to a jog. What specifically about the statues is significant to you, Evelyn? Thorn asks, his voice dangerously calm. They look familiar, okay? They look exactly like him. The statues are becoming less ruined, more pristine. I gasp, stumbling to a halt. Ahead, right beside the path, it's him, unmistakably. Stone Leo. Expression neutral, but the features perfect. His wild hair, the shape of his eyes, the moss clinging to the stone looks like soft shading in the orange light. The dead grass rustles around the statue's base in the still air. Evelyn, that's an order. Return protocol initiated. Turn around now. I break into a run. Forward. Another statue on a hillside to my left. Leo again. So lifelike the moss looks like clothing, the stone like skin. It could be him, frozen mid-stride playing, calling my name across the desolate hills. Evelyn, Thorn's voice crackles, sharp with command. Mission is terminated. Activate cord retraction, level 1, if she does not comply immediately. It's my brother! I scream into the mic, the confession tearing out of me. Running flat out now. Leo, I think he's here. I think I can find him. I'm not crazy. Look at the statues. You see them, right? Just let me go. Please. My voice. It sounds different. Higher pitched. Younger. Another statue looms atop the next hill. So realistic I squint, half expecting it to move, to wave. That beautiful, lost boy. I gulp down the clean, sweet air. My lungs feel brand new. Leo, are you here? Leo, answer me. All right, initiate retraction. Level 1. Thorn's voice, cold and resigned, talking to the winch operators. Lights flash on my harness. I fumble at the straps trying to tear it off. It is looser, but not loose enough. The magnetic lock holds firm. I feel the cord go taut, resisting my forward momentum. Leo, wait. Above, the giant statue's third eye glitters. Impassive. I fight the cord, straining forward, sweat stinging my eyes. Every step is a battle, but I'm still moving. Thorn again, fainter now. Increase to level 2. Bring her home. The cord tightens mercilessly. It halts my progress, then begins to pull me backward. I'm at the base of a hill. The last hill, something feels critical, monumentally important. Just over the rise, I can feel it. Wait, Eris, wait. Just one more hill. This is it. I know it. Please, one more. The cord drags me back. I swear, I hear faint, childish laughter on the windless air. With a final surge of adrenaline, I dig my heels in, dragging against the stone, a desperate, futile resistance. Clawing at the harness again. Ripping the headset off, stuffing the shoulder cams into pockets, I hear a distant level 3 before the headset clatters onto the path. My fight is over. The cord yanks me off my feet. I hit the stone path hard, the impact jarring through my bones. I'm dragged backward, scraping and bruising, cursing, grabbing uselessly at the smooth stones. It's hopeless. Wait, please, just let me see. Leo. I managed to scramble back to my feet at one point, staggering backward with the pull, but my strength fails. I collapse again, defeated, letting the cord drag my limp body across the unforgiving road. The operators, seeing my resistance cease, reduce the retraction speed back to level 2. I just lie there, letting it happen, the fight gone out of me. I watch the last wall slide past as I'm dragged by it. The shifting symbols flare. The water flows backwards here. Goodbye, I murmur, tears freezing on my cheeks. The symbols blur and rapidly reform into one final, chilling message. No, you will return. Your water flows with ours now. And then the wall is gone, lost behind the curve of the hill. After what feels like an eternity, I'm hauled backward through the shimmering orange veil of Passage 5. The color shift is jarring, the sudden blue-white light of the cavern blinding. My ears pop violently, like a rapid descent in a faulty elevator. I gasp, the cold, sterile air of the annex feeling thick and wrong in my lungs. Once I'm clear of the archway, dragged several feet further for good measure, the LED temperature display on the wall begins its slow climb. 15 to 4C, 10 to 4C, 5 to 4C. The portal in the archway shimmers, ripples like disturbed water, and then snaps back to showing the mundane ice wall opposite. The orange world is gone. A physical ache starts in my chest as I watch it vanish. Keeping it together, just barely. The cavern seems emptier now. Fewer scientists. Did they leave or did Thorn dismiss them? I groan, rolling onto my side, propping myself up on one elbow. The floor is freezing. Thorn is crouching beside me instantly, his face etched with professional concern. I'm sorry, Evelyn. He starts, then stops. He just stares. He reaches out, gently takes my face between his gloved hands, turning my head this way and that under the harsh lights. Hey, I protest weakly. Eris, stop it. He lets go but immediately beckons over a couple of his senior techs. Their goggles hide their eyes, but their body language screams confusion, maybe alarm. One woman literally claps a hand over her masked mouth. I blink, looking between them, my mind still half stuck in the orange wasteland. What? I croak. What's wrong? One of the techs, the woman, fumbles in her parka pocket, pulls out her standard issue tablet, and activates the front-facing camera. She holds it out to me. I stare at the screen, the face staring back. It's mine, but not. It's me from 20 years ago? Maybe more? I look like I'm barely out of my teens. My reflection stares back, wide-eyed. I demand a mirror, my voice sounding unfamiliar, higher. The frown lines I earned, stressing over grant proposals, gone. My hair, usually a practical, dull brown, looks lighter, thicker. My skin, it's smooth, eerily smooth, like a doll's. Get her to Med Bay, Thorn murmurs, backing away slightly, still staring. Run full diagnostics. What in God's name happened out there? The fountain of youth effect lasted about a day. Within 24 hours, I was back to my regular, middle-aged, slightly worse for wear self. Physically, anyway. The psych debrief was thorough. This time, I told them everything, the truth, about Leo, the messages, the statues, the pull, the whole sorry mess. They thanked me politely for my honesty, commended my contribution to the data pool, and then promptly, irrevocably, banned me from any further involvement with Passage 5, effective immediately. I spent 36 hours being poked and prodded in the infirmary, wore a sling for 2 days thanks to a wrenched shoulder. The bruises from my scenic tour back along the stone road faded after a few weeks. But my mind is still there, in the orange place, thinking about the statues, about the messages, about what was over that last hill, what I almost reached, what might have been waiting. I keep my head down now, do the grunt work, analyze data from less problematic items. But I can't shake it. It's lodged in my brain like a tumor. There has to be a way back. Someday. An experiment this morning brought me back down to the annex, back to the frigid zone, taking readings on some glorified paperweight that needs sub-zero temperatures to, I don't know, not explode. Everyone's busy minding their own anomalous business. So, while no one's looking, I wander. Just a little detour. Not towards Passage 5. Not yet. But towards its less flashy cousin, Item 7B, the cryptic vending machine in its little icy side room. I pull off my glove again, the familiar bite of cold, less shocking this time. Press my fingertips into the 5 grooves, the brief flare of internal light, the low hum, the white dot materializing behind the dark screen, waiting. I expect the bruised blue line to snake out to the right. Expect the sickly yellow alternatives to branch off, the usual pointless display of might have beens. But the liquid, it doesn't leak right. It flows left. A single, determined blue line, flowing backward, opposite to every time I've ever used this thing. It reaches the edge of the screen and vanishes. No yellow alternatives, no choices. Just the one path, predetermined, inevitable. The dot fades. The screen goes dark. I pull my trembling fingers back, my breath puffing out in a thick white cloud. A slow smile spreads across my face, cold and sharp. Well, damn, I murmur to the empty icy room, the wall's final words echoing in my head. You will return. Looks like the universe has a return policy after all.